I let myself get into it today. I haven't done this in a really long time. And on the surface, it's not any... If anybody was judging it on the surface, they would probably think, like, what is he talking about? But I let myself get into it because of somebody else's actions. And let myself get into reaction mode. Paid a very large energetic fee, and I'm coming out the other side of it, but I'm making this video as a reminder to myself and to all of you out there that once you're on this path, I guess you could call it the cleansing path. If you allow yourself to get into it, and I think you know what I'm talking about. The toll that you pay from it becomes larger and larger. You can have a smaller and smaller reaction to somebody else's deeds or perceived misdeeds, and your energetic toll is going to be larger and larger. When you allow that sort of stuff inside of you, like the blame thing, the reaction thing, any of that, the trying to control other people thing, when you allow that in after you've been cleansing for a long time, it's like going and having 10 shots of Jaeger after you've been sober for 10 years. And I apparently forgot about that. I forgot about it, and yes, paid the toll. So I'm shaking it off, shaking it out right now, and letting it be seared into my consciousness that when you do that, it's like, I used to skateboard. I skateboarded for 10 years. When I was younger, you know, I was like Gumby. I could roll my ankle, pop it out, pop back in. A week later, I'm good as new. Now, I'm older, and if I fall, it lasts longer. For instance, I fell on the skateboard, I don't know, 4 months ago. Landed on my elbow, and I'm still recovering from that injury. Going to the gym, slowly working it out, and it's recovering, but 4 months. Maybe I had a tear in a ligament, or maybe I had a hairline fracture or something, I don't know. I couldn't move the arm for 2 weeks. My range of motion was like 10 degrees. And energetically, it's the same thing. but kind of reverse. So like when you're, before you come onto the path of cleansing, of healing, you're kind of numbed out to all of that, and you can have a screaming match, you can have a fist fight with somebody, and might not even barely affect you at all, as far as you can tell. It's probably affecting you more on the deeper layers and levels, but as far as your perception, it's not necessarily having an effect on you. But as you grow older and your energetic cleansing, the ramifications of slips becomes much higher. And if you're not remaining vigilant, then it's subtle as well, you know? You can think, oh, you know, I'm doing great, doing perfectly fine, and then something comes and sneaks up and sneaks in internally, and as they say, it's off to the races. Alcohol works in the same way. If you have an issue with alcohol, all kinds of shenanigans and trickery are happening in your subtle mind, even though the outside one can be paying lots of lip service to the whole thing. When you say something like, I'm gonna only have one more drink, and then now you have one drink, and then that whole thing goes out the window. It's that kind of subtlety and self-trickery that will get you if you aren't vigilant. You have to remain vigilant. And brutally self-honest. And it's not easy. That's why a lot of people don't stay on the path. There are lots of casualties in the spiritual thing. And even if you are staying on it, like me today, you will have your own form of casualties. I know now that when this happens, I know what to do. You know, I have my tools with which to regain my center, regain my sense of peace. And it's always about forgiving myself for whatever I perceived that I did wrong, or wherever I erred. The first step is to forgive myself for doing that. And of course, go to the other person, whoever's involved, and apologize, or at least energetically make it correct, or do your best to do so, regardless of whether they reciprocate. That's irrelevant. It's completely on you. That's what, when I was in AA, that was part of the program. One of the steps when you're going back and making amends is that you do your due diligence, and then let go of it, and don't have expectations with how they're going to respond, or if they're going to respond, or if they're going to yell back, or whatever. It doesn't matter. The stuff that eats you up on the inside is stuff that you transgressed according to your own internal moral compass, and that thing sits inside of you like an energy sore or something, or like a virus. And if you don't cleanse it, if you don't dissipate it, then not only does it hide inside of you, it goes deeper, it goes into the subconscious or something. It also grows. And it also grows out of proportion to the original incident or whatever it was that apparently caused it. And then you start getting in projection mode, and then that starts doing the reflection thing back onto your mind of the remembering of the actual incident, and it oscillates and magnifies by virtue of that. So you have to, I have to nip that in the bud if it happens, and I have to do it fast, because, like I said, if you've been on the thing for a while and you do a small error, then it has faster implications and it grows faster inside, so I have to cleanse it immediately or do the best that I can to cleanse it and release it. And the releasing of it is the biggest part for me, because if you haven't released it, it's still inside and it's still growing. If you've released it, then it's like if you took some herbal remedy and just drank the thing of tea, of green tea or whatever, and then have faith that it's doing it. It's partially placebo effect, being that we're in a belief-driven reality. Anyway, I just wanted to make this because it will help me in my recovery from this particular incident, and hopefully will help some of you who know what I'm talking about. Anyway, hope everyone's doing well.